Summer is starting to fade, so why not make this cocktail right here a final word? Let me show you how to make it. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the Whiskey Nerd, and like I said, this week I'm making a final word cocktail. And I kind of got the idea for this because we've just passed the summer solstice here in Ireland, so summer is starting to fade. And I was looking for a cocktail that kind of matched up with that idea of the summer fading. I was heading into the final days of summer, and I hit upon this one right here, the final word. As you might imagine from the name of this cocktail, it's a riff on the last word cocktail. The last word cocktail, very famous gin cocktail. It's a gin cocktail, obviously. This one here is a whiskey cocktail. It was invented by Phil Ward at the Death & Co bar, and he kind of named it after himself, the final word, W-A-R-D. And in the original recipe, he used a rye whiskey to get that bit of extra spiciness and a bit of extra richness into the cocktail. I'm not using that. I'm using this one right here. This is an Irish whiskey. It's a pot still whiskey, so we'll have a lot of nice, rich, spicy notes to it, but it was also finished in a rye cask. So it has some of that kind of herbal, eucalyptus, kind of almost like black licorice, those kind of flavors from the rye cask coming through, and it gives a really nice kind of character and flavor. If you want to see a review of this whiskey, I'll put a link to it up there. It has a complicated enough name, the Green Chartreuse, but it is a nice new release from the Dingle Distillery here in Ireland. But as to the other ingredients in this cocktail, well, it's actually an equal parts cocktail, so we're going to be using 22.5 ml of each of these 4 ingredients. We've got our whiskey, but we also have some freshly squeezed lemon juice, some green chartreuse, and my bottle is running a little bit low, but hopefully I can find another few bottles because green chartreuse is getting a bit hard to find. And the last ingredient is this, the Luxardo Maraschino Cherry Liqueur. This is, like green chartreuse, very nice herbal liqueur, quite botanical and spicy, but also quite sweet, not overpowering, whereas the Luxardo Maraschino is more like that herbal sweetness coming through, not a lot of sugary sweetness, so it's not like a kirsch or like a cherry brandy or one of those ones. It's more like the natural flavor of cherries with a little bit of like herbal botanical spices added in, so it will go well, I think, with the other ingredients we've got right here. But that's enough talking about the cocktail. It's time we make it. It is going to be a shake and drink, so we're going to get our shaker tin and we're going to pop a nice rock of ice in there before we measure out the rest of our ingredients. We're going to start off with our whiskey. Like I said, it's going to be an equal parts cocktail, so we're going to use 22.5 ml of our different ingredients. That comes out as 2/3 of a shot, of a measure, of an ounce. So this here is a nice little kind of precise measure. I got it from the Difford's online store. It's really clever and it has lots of different measures there. So if you want to get that 22.5 ml or that 2/3 of an ounce in there, kind of nice. I'll leave a link to it down below. I won't get any commission or anything if you buy it, but I think it's a very nice little product if you are a bartender. It also is magnetic, so if you need it to be magnetic for some reason, you can have it magnetized and stick to the side of your bar. Next up, it's going to be 2/3 of an ounce or 22.5 ml of our freshly squeezed lemon juice into there, and then we're going to go in with our green chartreuse. Like I said, green chartreuse, it's almost like medicinal. It's like that herbal botanical sweetness coming through, but has a lot of flavor and a lot of like sweetness to it. Now, normally green chartreuse, you only use a small amount. This is going to give it a lot of flavor into our cocktail, so that's why like that nice amount of lemon juice that we've added in there is going to help cut across it. And I think the sweetness that's in this Dingle Irish whiskey is also going to help kind of cut across a lot of those herbal notes you get in that green chartreuse. And lastly, our Luxardo Maraschino Cherry Liqueur. Like I said, it's again into that kind of herbal space, not super sweet, but nice and kind of like light and balanced. So those are all our ingredients. Gonna pop the top on our shaker tin, bang it down and shake it away for about 30 seconds to get everything nice and cold. Okay, I think that is nicely chilled now. So I'm gonna bang the top off my cocktail shaker and I'm gonna go ready to strain it out into a nice chilled Nick and Nora glass. So I'm gonna cut my Hawthorne strainer up top and just catch any little ice chips there before they fall into the cocktail, just like that. But this isn't fully finished yet. We are going to put a little garnish on it. So I'm going to get a little lemon twist, express the oils over the top, and just give it just a little bit of a twist. Kind of perch it over the edge, just like that. And that right there is how I make a final ward. Now real quick before I taste this cocktail, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I put out whiskey reviews, like the review of this new Dingle whiskey every Wednesday, and I put out cocktail recipes featuring whiskey every Friday. So if you want to see those, make sure you're subscribed, and while you're down there, leave me a comment and let me know what your favorite riff on the last word cocktail is, or if you just prefer the original gin-based version. But now, let's taste this cocktail. That is surprisingly balanced. Like, I've made this cocktail before, getting ready for this, and it is actually surprisingly balanced. Like, with the amount of green chartreuse, like, you can see how green this is. You would think it would be very herbal or very botanical, almost medicinal, because green chartreuse has a lot of flavor to it, but the sweetness coming from the whiskey, the kind of natural sweetness from the lemon coming through, and that rounded out kind of natural sweetness again from the Luxardo liqueur comes through nicely. I think the fact that this whiskey here, this Dingle whiskey, it's spicy and a little botanical, but it also has a lot of like lemon citrus, lime citrus, that kind of like citrusy note, and I think that plays really well here. So rather than like fighting against the other ingredients, it works really well with them. Yeah, I'm getting like, again, if you watch the review of this whiskey, you'll know it has these almost like herbal, botanical, not medicinal, but that kind of like, that vibe has those kind of flavors. And again, that plays really well here with the other ingredients, giving you just a surprisingly balanced cocktail, despite the fact that it's only 4 ingredients and one of them is green chartreuse, which is really, really strong. So I'm definitely going to keep on enjoying this one, and I will see you next time. Sláinte.